When you hear NSX, what do you think? Do you think legendary? What about best driver's car ever made? Or do you hear disappointment? Regardless of what you think, there's no denying that these cars are some of the best cars that Honda's ever produced. And you need to get one before it's too late. Today I'm going to tell you just why and many more things on this episode of Car Talk. Let us get into it. So first, let's dive into the history of the NSX and how it even came to be. It's quite interesting, actually. The NSX was a project made by Honda solely to compete with Ferrari. Their goal was to match the performance of the Ferraris at the time while offering reliability and a fair price point. And that they did exceed. The 90s NSX weighed about 3,000 pounds, did 0 to 60 in about 5.5 seconds, and only cost $58,000 at the time. A 1990 Ferrari 348 weighed about 3,300 pounds, did 0 to 60 in about 5.6 seconds, and cost $95,000. So you could clearly see which one was better, especially on paper. The NSX was lighter, performed better, cost less, so they sold millions of these units, right? Made a bunch of ballers and dollars. Wrong! Probably wondering why it didn't sell as well as you would think it would. It's the same reason that Kia and Hyundai get a bunch of flack these days for their cars. Kia Stinger. Nobody likes that car. Why?
Bro, it is literally just a Kia. Nothing is special about a Kia.
The same exact thing was happening back then for Honda. And if you don't believe me, look, they had to create a whole new brand, Acura, just to sell this car, the Integra, and the Legend in America. It just amazes me that this is regarded as one of the best cars ever made. And when it came out, nobody bought it. This generation of NSX had a lifespan of 15 years, sadly ended in 2005, getting a refresh in 2002. The total amount of units that was made for at least the North American market was only about 18,000. The resale value on these cars post-production was pretty trash too. All the way up until about 2016, you could get a perfectly unmolested model for like half the price that it originally was made for. But then around 2016, 15, 17, something happened. People realized just how bonkers this car actually was. So you can guess what happened. Simple economics lesson here. Low supply, high demand. What do you think the price is gonna be? Bonkers high. You started to see clean low mileage examples sell for over $100,000. In 2021, 2022, over $200,000, close to $300,000. Like more than almost quadruple the price of the original car. This is crazy, this is ridiculous, right? What once was a car made for the average Joe to bully its European counterparts is now a collector's item that no common man will ever be able to get. In 2017, the new generation, the NC1 NSX, came out. They're back to save the day. A light, fun, cheap supercar, right? Wrong! Now, this NSX, although good in its own fashion, just was not reminiscent of the old NSX. It wasn't light, it wasn't cheap at all. And those two things were a very big turnoff to the people in the community. The release of this NSX caused people to, have a sense of nostalgia for the old NSX. That's what caused the high inflated prices of the old NSX. The new NSX starts at $157K. That's a lot. That's a lot of money for a car. And you might be saying, oh, what about inflation? 1990 was almost 30 years ago at this point. Well, look, I did the math. Well, I Googled the math. $60K in $1990 is about $112,000 in today's money. And although you do get more horsepower, more technology in the new NSX, once again, it's just not the same formula as the old NSX. I honestly believe that this car would have been received better if it didn't have the NSX nameplate. Maybe if they used the HSC, that prototype that was supposed to be the successor to the last gen NSX. Because when you put these two cars together, they're not really the same in spirit. The car continues to sell pretty poorly throughout the years, and then 2021 rolls around. Honda announces something pretty cool. The NSX Type S. The car is supposed to have 100 or so more horsepower, a lighter chassis. But the real sauce is when you take a look at the car. This genuinely might be the most beautiful car I've laid my eyes on. This has such appealing body lines. The front grille, I like it. This car makes it look like an intern designed the new Integra. Like, this car is just, I'm at a loss for words how amazing it looks, man. Now, this car will start at $170K, which, it's a lot of money again. But for what they're offering, I say it's kind of worth it. They're also only releasing 650 units of this car for the North American market. 650 of these cars for all of North America, Canada, United States, Mexico.
Just in case you didn't know what North America consisted of.
But anyways, I have a bold prediction to make. Now, old NSX prices, they're just continuing to rise. That probably won't change for a very long time. But these new NSX prices, they're dropped right now. Why? Because the old one's better and the new one's, a little bonkers bad compared to the old one. But I believe, just like the old NSX, once they stop production of this car completely and we move into a, EV dominated market, they're going to go bonkers for this car. They're going to see this car and be like, I can't believe nobody bought this car. This was one of the best cars Honda's ever made. Just like the old NSX. If we look at the price of the old NSX compared to how it sells now, almost quadruple. Using that as kind of like a guide, the same possible thing could happen for the new NSX. And if those prices quadruple, no one's gonna be able to get that unless you're like a multi-millionaire. And the reason why I believe the old NSX prices are gonna continue to rise is because these cars aren't really in the same market, so they won't be competing. They just happen to have the exact same name. One is a super car. One is just a really good old Honda supercar. And let me reiterate this, because I don't know if you guys understand what I'm saying clearly. The new NSX is by no means a bad car. It just has a bad rep because it's not like the old car. Just like the new Integra, now that's a different story. That car looks bad. We'll get there whenever we get there. But the new NSX is good on its own. Maybe if it wasn't called the NSX, like I said, it would have performed way better. Same thing with the new Integra. When you expect to take people down nostalgia lane and then you show them this, they are going to be turned off. I say all this to say one thing. If you have the purchasing power and you want one of these cars, old or new, or Type S, buy one before you can never buy one. Unless you plan on becoming a multi-billionaire in the future, buy one now. Peace.
Raindrop, drop top, top smoking, no cooking the hot bar.